Yeah, it was 3 years of some intense learning. And then the certification process is not easy either. You had to put a case study together and have it like clinically present it to the board, the scientific board,
Mm.
and have them review it in order to be certified.
Welcome to V is for Victory, a podcast about how small businesses overcome big battles. I'm your host, Jill Miller of Vera Creative, a boutique marketing firm in the Chicagoland area where I'm also a part-time professor of an advertising course. Join me as I talk with entrepreneurs about the challenges they face as well as their strategies for success. Hey guys, make sure you check out the link in my episode notes for Earthly. I'm sure you've heard me talk about being green or crunchy, using products with minimal ingredients, our clean journey for our family. Well, this is where I do most of my shopping. Everything from sunscreens to bug repellents, household cleaners, lotions, deodorants, soaps for the kiddos. I love this company and I know that you will too. Give their products a try and let me know what you think. Hey everybody, welcome to V is for Victory. I'm super excited today because I'm welcoming back a super special guest. Her name is April Johnson. She is a functional medicine coach, and it's been a long time since we've had a chance to chat. So welcome to the show, April.
Yay, I'm so excited to be back. Yes, it's been, I think, several years.
I know, isn't that crazy? So you were one of my first guests, like season 1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. So it has been several years.
Let's see if I've gotten any better as a host. I think I've gotten worse, actually.
Oh, I doubt
That intro
that.
was horrible. The pressure was on because I love you so much and I wanted to do good.
Oh my gosh, you're
So
funny.
I got to ask you about something because I've been watching you. You know, we keep in touch on social media, but you started a garden.
Oh, I've been doing the garden for a while, but
You
yes, yes,
yes.
yes. I'm
Well,
getting ready. I'm getting ready to, well, we're getting the starts ready in the house so that they can go out into the garden. But yeah.
oh my gosh, I have a brown thumb, I think is what you would say, opposite of green, whatever that is. So I am so impressed with anyone who can keep up a garden. And I get so overwhelmed by just like, what seeds do you buy and transferring things and what grows in what climate the best. And so I just want to pick your brain a little bit. Talk to me about why you started your garden and where you got your skills from.
Oh, gee, my skills. I've acquired them over the years because when I started a garden, I was not very good at it. I don't think me and my husband were very good at it, actually. But the reason why we started the garden, honestly, is because we just wanted to grow our own food. When we learned about the food industry, this is many years ago, we were like, yeah, we're going to have to make some major changes to what we're eating. And, it just made sense to learn how to grow your own food. We really wanted to just start off small, but work our way up into a place where we were able to actually process the food, preserve it, and can it so that it could sit on our shelves as well. So when we started, it was a tiny garden. It wasn't very big. And now it's like, I think my husband says it's a 40 by 60. So it's
Oh,
huge.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
huge.
that's awesome. And you know how to can? See, these are skills that our generation just doesn't know anymore.
No. No, you are absolutely right. And I knew about canning a little bit because my grandmother did it.
Same.
And I didn't learn it from, in my own family. Until me and my husband, we decided we wanted to learn how to do it. And so we went out and learned how to do it. Um, and so we started off like very small with, preserving like say tomato sauce and spaghetti sauce. And then I worked our way up from just water bath to pressure canning. And the new thing in the Johnson house actually is we have an old garage that we are converting into an outdoor kitchen. And so we are in the process of doing that now. Hopefully it will be functional by the time I think my husband's just shooting for June or July of this year. And honestly, one of the biggest things that a lot of people in my area have been asking for is classes on how to can.
Oh,
So be on the lookout that I'm probably going to be doing canning classes out of that
that's so
outdoor kitchen.
exciting.
I know.
That's
I'm super
awesome. You
excited.
guys have a legit operation going on there.
It's getting there.
That's so cool. You know what is even better though? When you say we decided we wanted to learn. So we went out and learned. And again, so few people lack that attitude and that drive and the motivation to do that. They're just like, oh yeah, someday. but I love that. And I'm kind of like a doer as well. So somebody asked me the other day, why'd you start your podcast? I'm like, good question. I don't know. I just wanted to do it and I did it.
I love it. I love
it. So this has got to tie, your garden has to tie in very well with what you do in terms of functional medicine and when you're working with people, but lay that out on the line one more time for us. I know you did in our first episode, but how is it that you help people?
Yeah, so actually from the first time we chatted, I have really shifted and pivoted a little bit. At that time I was running my own practice. But as time has gone on, I've actually been working with practitioners. So over the course of the last several years, I worked with a wellness center, and then I was a coach at Be Balanced, helping women with natural hormone balancing and losing weight. And now I'm actually working with a naturopathic doctor. She is actually known across the globe. Her name is Dr. Michelle Sands, and her practice is completely online, and it's called Glow Natural Wellness. And so what her practice does and what I'm a part of is hormone health. So she has what's called the Healthy Hormone Academy, and women join this because they are looking to help support hormones with bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So a lot of women in perimenopause, but mostly after menopause, they're not really making hormones, and they're dealing with a lot of symptoms that come along with that menopause, and also not getting the health benefits because they don't have good hormone production anymore. So that's what I do. I help women on bioidentical therapy, get them started on them, meet with them every 4 months for their retest reviews, do additional supports like check-ins and things like that. But also on her other side of her practice is she does have functional testing. She has what's called Glow Protocol. So there's like all the functional medicine testing that I like GI map and the Dutch test and all those types of things. So I'm going to see about possibly maybe going over and doing some of those things over there as well, because that's also another passion of mine. But yeah, so that's currently where I'm at right now and how I help women.
I love it because I'm sure people have heard about the crunchy groups I am in on Facebook, and I can't even tell you the number of times that people will chime in on a thread and their advice is to ask about bioidentical hormone therapy. So I've seen that recommended a lot. I can take an educated guess as to what it is, but flesh it out a little bit more for the listeners in case they want to know more about that.
Sure. So bioidentical, so what we use, it's all topical application. We don't do anything oral. Oral, everything oral has to be processed in the gut, metabolized in the liver. That can cause problems down the road, can cause health issues. So the bioidentical creams, they are very much identical to the hormone structures of what you're currently already making. And so we do support with bioidentical estrogen, progesterone, and DHEA to help women support their hormones. And so a lot of the women need, like in perimenopause, need that progesterone support because progesterone is actually that first hormone that is on the decline. And estrogen is kind of a crazy wild woman. She fluctuates a lot in that phase. And so a lot of women are dealing with estrogen dominance, right? Dealing with, issues with sleep or anxiety, weight, possibly, other types of symptoms. So we definitely help them with that. But also when we get into that menopause and we're making those low level hormones, women need estrogen and progesterone support. Absolutely. So they're not dealing with all of those symptoms. Those menopause symptoms should not be, the way that women like put it is like, it's normal as we age. Like that's when we're just supposed to deal with it. Well, no, that's an unacceptable answer. And so those bioidenticals will help support estrogen and progesterone levels in the body. So they get that symptom relief, but also the benefits that come from hormones supporting brain, bone, and heart. Because a lot of women as they age will deal with like osteoporosis or Alzheimer's and heart disease and so on.
I love that because you bring up a really good point about, oh, that's normal. And there's so many areas in our life where we've come to just accept what we're told and accept a less than type of standard, a lower standard than what we really deserve, or maybe what our intuition tells us is right. And yet it's like a lot of times I think what trips people up is they don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And or it's like there's either not enough information or there's so much information they're kind of bombarded by it. But again, you raise a really good point of like, oh, that's normal. And it's funny because like, I mean, clearly I've been pregnant for like a million times the last 5 years, but you know, I don't know, like when you get your blood work done, and even with that, it's just like you have this range, right?
Yeah.
For whatever it is you're measuring. And range can be ginormous,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so if as long as you're in the range, you're good, you're normal. It's like, well, no, but what if that's not my normal, right?
Exactly.
Like, what if that's not good for, what if I, so it's just kind of interesting to me. And I read something, I don't even know what it was, in a social media post today, and I was kind of thinking like, man, oh, you know what it was? It was a headline in Children's Health Defense about how doctors got paid buku bucks to jab the Medicare patients. And yeah, it's like you're like shaking your head because you're like me. You're like, oh yeah, not surprised. But so I was just thinking like these doctors have gone from being held to a super high ethical standard to like being some of the worst ethical, like the least ethical people out there, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like they just kind of throw their hands up, like coming full circle here, like they throw their hands up and they're like, well, everything says you're normal, so shoo,
Mm-hmm.
follow up with your primary. That's what they love to say. Follow up with your primary. I'm like, yeah, I don't waste my time with primaries. Don't even have one. But yeah, so I think how can you and maybe you said that Michelle Sands is known worldwide and has a great following, but how do you guys get the word out? I mean, how do we tell people like, hey, there's an alternative and it might not be mainstream, but it's super effective and it's safe, and what can we do?
Yeah, so actually Dr. Michelle does all of that work, honestly. So she has a YouTube page, by the way, loaded with lots of videos. I would encourage any woman who's interested in Dr. Michelle to go check her out, her YouTube page. Go check out glownaturalwellness.com. That's her website. It has everybody who works for her. So I'm on the page, along with all the other amazing coaches and nurses that are a part of her team. And all of the programs and the Healthy Hormone Club, all that's in there. And honestly, I would get on her email list because she does put out a lot of great content through there as well. She does Facebook Live. She does Zooms. She has like a Q&A. So
So
that's
she's
how she
Superwoman.
yeah. And also she has a book that I just started reading. It's called Hormone Harmony right here.
Hold that up. I'm going to screenshot that. You hold that up one more time, please.
Sure thing, dear.
A little higher, a little higher.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, there we go. Big smile.
Yeah, so I would encourage. So when you go onto her website, there'll be a pop-up. You can receive this digitally for free, or you can buy the book itself. It's probably not that expensive, but I would definitely recommend reading that too. So
Awesome.
yeah, like I said, she is very much out there. She does a lot of things. So those are some ways that you can get to know her a little bit more
Yeah.
and what she does and what we do.
Do you find yourself in everyday conversation? Like, I don't know. I feel like more and more, maybe just because like my daughter's in a homeschool group and I'm chatting with some of the moms, like through text messages and doing play dates and whatnot. And I feel like, the more I start talking about clean products or healthy living or biohacking, because I'm super fit. Like, as you can see, I have headphones. I don't have AirPods or AirPods. Is that what they're called? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have those in because, 5G, whatever.
I
And
got you.
so I don't need that radiation plugging into my brain. But so the more I talk about it, and maybe I'm just annoying and always talk about it, but the more I talk about it, the more I'm like getting texts that pop up like, hey, like just the other day, I'm looking for sunscreen. What do you recommend? Then another mom, I'm looking for sunscreen. What do you recommend? And so it's just funny because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm becoming that go-to person. Is that you in your life?
Oh,
Are you the go-to?
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I have like random people will like send me a message through Facebook, asking me about a food or asking about hormones. I had someone ask me about where I could refer someone to start their health coach career journey. So yeah, I get asked pretty often, a lot, a lot of times. People just wanting to know information about X, Y, and Z. Because
Yeah.
they just see me talk about it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like, I was flattered by it a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it feels good to put it back out there in the world. Like, yes, I've only spent like 3 years. I think our like cleaner living journey has only been about 3 years long, but not that I was like a garbage gut or like, you know what I mean, before. I've always been somewhat health conscious. But yeah, it's like, oh, good, my research and the people I've connected with and all that's starting to pay off to where, like I said, I can kind of put it back out there in the world and do some good and actually feels really good. I forgot what you did before functional medicine. What was your career?
Before I got into health coaching,
Yeah.
oh, my other life that I don't want to go back to.
Don't blame you.
So I actually went to school to learn medical billing and collecting, mostly
Oh,
the
okay.
medical collecting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I did, but I actually worked in long-term care.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing Medicaid applications.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not
So
not not fun, guys. Not fun at
no.
all. No, I
What
prefer what I do now way better.
what was the pivot? What was the shift? You had a personal journey with this, didn't you?
Yeah, the shift was my own personal journey, and it's probably was I lose track of time, but I'd say probably about 15-ish years ago when I started this. And it was when me and my husband got very curious about the food industry. We started watching like documentaries. Food Inc. was probably the first one we ever watched.
Food Inc.
I always, and it is a little bit outdated, but I always do recommend it because it was a really huge eye opener. And after we started learning about GMOs and the processed foods and the preservatives and the additives and all the things, and we went through our own kitchen pantry, like 90 some percent of the food was crap food. And it was really eye-opening that we were eating food that was not good for us, not nutritious. I was dealing with health problems. I was dealing with digestive issues. I probably was hormonal. I was overweight. I was dealing with all the things. And when we made the necessary adjustments to our food and, things just started to shift in my health. I lost weight. I lost like 20 pounds and I was sleeping better and, I was feeling so much better. And then, just got more curious about holistic health. And I just started diving more and making my own products. I mean, I was a DIYer, like huge. I'm not so much anymore, but I was huge back in the day.
What did you make? What else did you make? I mean,
So I tried the shampoo thing. I tried candles and lip balm and all of those things, So, I mean, we still make the lip balm. We still make that. That's great.
yeah.
But all the other things. Oh, and I still make a lotion. I do make a body lotion. But yeah, so anyways, so as I just kept learning more and more and more and more, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to share what I've learned and help people because if I didn't know all this stuff, I know a lot of other people don't know this stuff, and it explains why so many people are struggling with health issues, right? So I was like, I don't know what that looks like, but I want to be able to do that. And so I had a friend who went through IIN, the Institute for Integrated Nutrition, and had her coaching certificate. She plastered
Wait,
it
is
on
that Sheila?
No, it wasn't
Oh,
her.
okay.
No.
Is that how we connected, though? Originally, was it
Yes,
Sheila
I want to
Peterson?
say I think
Okay, because she went
so.
to IIN. Okay, all right.
Yes. No. So she had this on Facebook, and I said to my friend Kirsten, I said, "What is a health coach?" Because I didn't even know what it was. And so she explained it to me, and I was like, "That's what I want to do. That is exactly what I want to do." So then I talked to my husband. I said, "Please, please, 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 please. It's not cheap,
Yeah.
Can I go through this program?" And he said, "Okay." And so I signed up for IIN, and that's how how it all started. And
That was the journey.
that was the journey. And, all these years later, then I found functional medicine, fell in love with that, went through that schooling, got certified as a functional medicine coach. And here I am.
And that's like big time work, right? The functional medicine side of things is like, I mean, I remember looking at some of your posts and it's like, it's intense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was like 3 solid years of some pretty rigorous education. I mean, I'm learning about everything. And did I keep all the information here? Probably not. I go back and review a lot of the things, but I have all the basic knowledge. But yeah, it was 3 years of some intense learning. And then the certification process is not easy either. You had to put a case study together and have it like clinically present it to the board, the scientific board, and have them review it in order to be certified. So it was.
Yet it's still shunned by like mainstream, right? So you have all these. Oh, that's so frustrating because it's like people like to throw in my face, like if they're challenging me, they're like, "Are you a doctor?" It's like, no, but what do doctors do all day? They sit inside of an office and they treat patient after patient after patient. When do they have time to research? They're learning from people who were trained on a sales script on how to sell drugs, like literally like pharmaceutical reps, right? That's what a doctor knows. I mean, they know from their education too, but I just feel like, Anyhow, I won't go down that rabbit hole because I've probably done it too many times.
Well, me and you could probably go down that rabbit hole and talk for hours.
I know.
For hours. I know.
For and sure. I was like, April, we got to keep this to 35 minutes. So
maybe another time. Maybe another time.
I know. Part 3. That's funny. I've never tried to make my own candle, but I definitely have my own lip balm. And honest to gosh, that's probably the one natural product that I think it's night and day. Like if my daughter, she's little, but that just sounded weird. She'll like bite her lip or she'll get, how kids like are always licking their faces to get their peanut butter off we use almond butter, but anyways, so whenever she starts to get like a little bit red or chapped, I put one that I made, essential oil, coconut oil, I think maybe a little beeswax or something in there. I don't even remember what's in there, but it takes a long time to perfect the recipe. And I'm not a measurer. This is why I don't bake, because I hate measuring things. I never wrote it down. But anyways, so we've got a couple good lip balms that actually turned out in terms of consistency. They're not hard as a rock. They actually spread on. And literally in a day or two, her dry spot is gone. And then I've noticed that I have like Burt's Bees chapsticks and stuff laying around the house. And when I use them, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I need more and more and more of it. This is totally like a pharmaceutical, right? It's like...
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that so our natural lip balm is, I think, pretty much the same. We use beeswax and coconut oil, vitamin E. I want to say there's some other stuff in it too, but it does take time to perfect it for sure. So it's not hard as a rock. So, but right. I've noticed how much it helps with my lips, especially in the winter.
Yeah,
they get really chapped. Like nothing else really ever really worked for me in the past. But like I even have it sitting here on my desk. Like this stuff is, I use it all the time.
Yep. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So maybe you can offer a DIY lip balm making class in your outdoor kitchen as well as canning.
It's always that's a great idea. I mean, I could do that. I've said to someone the other day I wanted to go back and try to remake my beeswax candles. Mm-hmm. I love beeswax candles. And then I also make a fermented lemon ginger drink.
Ooh, like a kombucha?
It's not like that. It's
okay.
It's not quite like that. It's not like vinegary or anything like that. But it's really, really good. But anyways, so I make that. So maybe possibly teach people how to make that, or at least sell it. I don't know.
Yeah. I buy that. Every time I'm driving around and I'm like, okay, I'll just go get coffee. And in my head, I'm like, Jill, you need to kick the coffee habit. But I'm like, if they had a drive-through kombucha like shop, or even if any of the coffee shops that had drive-throughs sold kombucha, their number one customer. Okay. So if anybody out there is listening, I don't know of a single place that you can just drive through and get some kombucha. And so there's your $1 million business idea right there. As long as you're in the right market. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that I'm friends with that are like, come what?
Yeah, right. No, that's funny to bring up the booch because my husband, well, he loves kombucha. Like we don't make it ourselves, but he goes and he buys it by the case. So he absolutely loves it. So, I've always told him, like, because you like it so much, why don't we just try to relearn how to make it?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get the Scooby.
You got to get the Scooby for sure. So maybe down the road, who knows? Maybe people can come and drive through our little outdoor kitchen.
Road trip to Pennsylvania, Jill. Pack the kids in the car. We're going to get kombucha. It's a long drive through.
It's a long drive for some kombucha, but you can always come over and hang out at any time.
Yeah. I would love to see your garden. I would love to see your outdoor kitchen. Please, are you documenting? Are you documenting? Thank you. I told you I can't speak today. Are you documenting the the transformation of your garage?
That's a really great question. And I thought about this the other day as I was out there. My husband's like, oh, I did all of this. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm wondering, did he take any pictures? I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
I could always start taking them now. I mean, it's gutted out and it still has a long way to go, but
Is this a secondary garage or are you giving up your parking?
So, well, my parking's all out in the driveway. Oh. So it was a one-door garage with a tree that was in front of it. So nobody could ever park in it anyways. We had to get rid of the tree. But we got an actual bigger shed to put all our stuff in and then just decided to take this little garage and just convert it over to an outdoor kitchen because it was perfect size for it.
Well, I love that, but I get so confused. Like, I'm in the Midwest, you're in the Northeast, and it's like people don't park in their garage. You know what they do here in Illinois? They put TVs and couches in their garage. Like our neighbor across the street legitimately hangs out in his garage, and I've seen the inside. Well, I've seen the inside of the house on like Zillow pictures, and I know for a fact that there are other places and plenty of other places in that house to have a couch and a TV. Yet he chooses to put them in his garage and park his brand new cars outside. And I'm just like, I could never park outside. I couldn't do it. First of all, Khaleesi is far too precious to me. That's my car. Her name is Khaleesi. To be parked outside in the elements. But are you a Game of Thrones fan?
No.
Oh, okay. So Khaleesi's from the Game of Thrones. But anyways, Queen of the Unburnt, because I totaled my Acura and apparently when airbags go off, there's chemicals inside of them and they burn you. So I got burnt in that accident. And so that's why I named my new car Khaleesi, because part of her big long super name, if you watch Game of Thrones or you're a fan, is Queen of the Unburnt. But
Gotcha.
Yeah. So but anyways, it just is so funny to me, like nobody parks in their garages. We do. And my husband has a big car and Khaleesi's kind of a big car. And we only have a 2-car garage and we have so much crammed into our garage, but I will never. And even when my husband got his new car, he's like, well, if it doesn't fit, I'll have to park in the driveway. And I was like, absolutely not. We will not park in the driveway. We will use our garages. So, just kudos to you, for parking in your driveway, especially in the cold weather. I couldn't handle.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had no real choice. That car, there was no way even a car could fit in it anyways. It's tiny. It's a tiny thing.
Could you even maneuver around the tree? That's hilarious.
No. It was a huge like maple tree, and it's bad location for a tree, bad location for a garage. You're going to put a car in it.
The tree was obviously there first.
Yeah, obviously, so right?
Somebody built the garage. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, the tree eventually had to be removed because it was dying and I didn't want it falling on our house.
Yeah.
It literally was hanging over my new brand kitchen that we put in here some years ago. So the tree is now gone, but anyways, yeah. It was interesting.
I can't wait to see this outdoor kitchen. What does it all have in there? A stove?
Oh my gosh. So we're going to have a stove, a 6-burner stove, I believe, probably a charbroiler, a fryer, sink, table, stainless steel table. We have a refrigerator, like a commercial refrigerator, so we can put like the lemon ginger drink and whatever else in there. I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch of stuff, but
Do you guys like buy a cow from a farmer? Did you like, where do you guys get your meats from? Because that's a huge thing that I'm freaking out about right now. I feel like I can't eat any meat because it's probably all vaccinated and I'm vicariously being vaccinated through my meat and I'm
yeah,
freaking out about it. And people are like, I got ridiculed the other day because I'm like, you don't understand. I have no room for like an extra freezer in my house. And they're like, somebody said the garage, and I'm like, well, no, because then I'd have to park outside. And I just heard my sentiments on that. And then
yeah.
they were like, there's got to be room somewhere in your house. And I'm like, you're right. If I plug it into my kitchen, I can use it as an island.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
a center island. Like literally that would be the only place. But so they were like, you're just making excuses as to why
I'm
you,
sure you can find some room
oh my
squeezing up right
God.
somewhere. I mean, I have like two of them in my basement.
You do, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, yeah, we do buy all of our meat from a local farmer. So we have several out in my area. So out in central Pennsylvania, we are surrounded by Amish. And
Oh.
so not yeah, no, I mean, not all of them do things the right way. I will put that up there. But for the most part, um the one, obviously the ones that we connect with, we definitely want to make sure that they're raising animals on, grass and, taking care of them humanely and all of that. So yeah, we buy our beef, we buy our chicken, turkey, pork, all from local farmers. So
I
our two
love
uprights are completely full with frozen meat.
That's awesome. Kudos to you guys for that. So there were some Amish actually in Wisconsin where I grew up. Um and I never really I can't say I ever knew any of them. But definitely saw the horse and buggies going down the street with the orange triangles on the back, right? Like
Yep, that they go by my house all the time.
I love that. I really want to come visit.
I definitely make a trip out here, girl. We can hang out. It's all good. I can show you all about central PA, I guess, and Appalachian Mountains, and connect with the Amish farmers and do that type of thing. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's see. What what is your message currently that you wish people could hear or know or feel?
Oh boy, what a question.
Right? We go from ha ha Amish to what do you want the world to know?
Whoa, boy, that is a really loaded question because there's a lot of things going on in the world that I would love to speak on. How much time do we have?
5, 10 minutes. How fast can you talk?
Oof, that's a doozy. Um, I don't know. I guess for me personally, just because of my own experience, taking care of yourself, obviously. I mean, especially right now in the crazy world we live in, there's just a lot going on. And I talk to women all day, every day. And a lot of women, and not just women, but people in general, are taking on a lot and dealing with a lot. And I think it's really important. And like I tell them, is to take care of yourself and to sometimes maybe disconnect from social media or news in general.
Mhm.
Because just so much being thrown at people and overwhelming them and stressing them out and taking the much needed time to spend with your family, spend with your loved ones, doing the things that light you up, that make you happy, and just taking care of yourself overall. So
Yeah, it's funny. My dad was actually, I talked to him yesterday and he's like, I'm like, what you doing? He's like, oh, you know me. I'm in the bedroom so that I don't annoy everybody because I'm listening to some news thing. He goes, but I did take a break yesterday. I did read that, if this stuff gets you down, you need to take a break. And I'm like, yeah, I have not even watched The High Wire in probably a year
I
or
have
listened
either.
to it in
Yep.
probably a year. And Dell is like my hero.
Mhm.
So, it's not that I don't support or anything like that, but it's just like, you know, um too much of one thing in any area of your life is overwhelm. So
Yes.
yeah.
Hmm. No, I agree with you. I too was a pretty avid listener, just like you, and I stepped away from it. I stepped away from a lot of that stuff because it just got to be so loud and too much. And I just really just had to like stop and
Yeah.
do the things that I really enjoy. And like I said, spend time with my family and in my career and my garden and my granddaughter and all those
Yes.
things. So yeah.
Yes. I don't think your granddaughter was born the last time we chatted. How old is she
No,
now?
she will be 2 in
So
September.
then, yeah, so then I don't think so. September what? I'm September 25th.
Yeah, she's the 14th, I believe it was.
Oh
September
my
14th. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was born during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
No,
fun.
we do not refer to that as a time period. That is not a time period. Government lockdown can be a time period. Yeah, I have banished that type of language from my vocabulary. Like I refuse to acknowledge that as a time period. Um,
I hear you. With you.
oh my goodness. Okay, so what was the name of the book again that you recommended by?
Oh, it's called Hormone Harmony Over 35.
Hormone Harmony Over 35. So I'll link all the goodness that we talked about in the episode notes. But
Perfect.
what else? I mean, you turned off the high wire, but have you read anything else? Or are you listening to anything else that's kind of like inspiring you or uplifting you lately?
Um, Good question. Let me think on that for just a second. I am not the greatest reader. So even though I have the book, I
Yeah.
started it.
Oh yeah, there's your bookmark in there.
I'm not the greatest reader, even though I want to read all of these books. But no, honestly, I don't think I really have been listening to much of anything lately, at all. Like I've been pretty clear of all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
no, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I'll give you a recommendation of something to listen to. V is for Victory. It's this really
Well,
awesome
that's a no-brainer.
podcast. All
We'll
right,
have to
okay, cool.
definitely check her out.
Yeah. Oh man. She's a loudmouth, opinionated, quasi
I
businesswoman.
I love it though. I love it.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up. I mean, this was just a short, sweet conversation. I love that I finally got to check in with you and ask you all my questions about your garden because honestly, that was like the thing that I was the most curious about because you have all this delicious food pictures in your social media and I'm just and I know that you're growing it on your own and I just really really respect and admire that
Thank you.
because it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of continuous education, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
I wish you nothing but luck with the outdoor kitchen. Like you
Thank you.
said, the canning classes, that sounds so much fun. You need help marketing, you know who to turn to.
I know exactly. I think you already mentioned that to me.
A time or
Absolutely.
two, maybe.
Yeah, a time or two.
It's just called brand awareness. That's all I'm doing. Making sure you're aware.
Gotcha.
Uh, so we'll keep in touch. And like I said, this we're in April right now, but this episode will air in June. So it'll be June. So your garden will be rocking and rolling. Make sure you're posting a bunch of pictures so anybody
Hello.
listening to this can go follow you. I will link your Instagram. Is that where you're mostly or Facebook?
You could do both.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
probably post a little bit more on Facebook because it gets a little bit more attention versus
Yeah.
Instagram, where I only get like a few likes on a post versus like Facebook, I can get up
It's
to
all
like
me.
50 to 100. Maybe not all you, but mostly you. But
Okay.
you can link to both of them. That's fine.
Okay, I'll do that. So people look for that in the episode notes. April Johnson, functional medicine coach. Everybody check her out. Check out her garden. Check out what she's got going on. She's passionate. She cares about you. She wants to help you. You can reach out to her, especially with the hormone therapy, bioidentical therapies. If you have questions, she's your go-to gal. April, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, it's great